Ladies and gentlemen, good
morning. On behalf of the Kentucky Army National Guard and the 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade, it is our great pleasure to welcome you to our change of command ceremony. This morning we will witness the change of command whereby Colonel Michael W. Stevens, the brigade commander, will pass the mantle of command to Lieutenant Colonel Gary D. Lewis. Your host for today's ceremony is Colonel Mike Stevens, commander of the 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade. The guest of honor is Lieutenant Colonel Dwayne Lewis, the incoming commander. The reviewing officer for today's ceremony is Brigadier General Scott A. Campbell, Assistant Adjutant General, Kentucky National Guard. The Command Sergeant Major is Command Sergeant Major William T. Stalker. The Commander of Troops is Lieutenant Colonel Philip D. Robinson, Executive Officer. The staff consists of Brigade S1 Chief, CW3 Jason McIntosh, Brigade S2 Major Jonathan Wesley, the Brigade S3 Lieutenant Colonel Mark Brozak, Brigade S4 Major Adam Machuba, and the Brigade S6, Second Lieutenant Jennifer Steinmetz. The ceremonial battery from the Headquarters and Headquarters Battery 138th Fires Brigade, supported by the 2123rd Transportation Company, is led this morning by Staff Sergeant J.C. Parsons. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as the Commander of Troops brings the units to attention for the entrance of the official party and remain standing for the posting of the colors, the playing of the national anthem, and the invocation.
Bring your units to attention and present all.
Please remain standing as the Commander of Troops brings our units to order arms and parade rest.
Bring your units to order, arms, and parade rest. Order, arms, parade.
Our brigade chaplain, Lieutenant Colonel William Draper, brings us our morning's invocation.
I invite you to bow your hearts as I pray. Almighty God, throughout our nation's history, you have called men and women to military service while sustaining them and their families through both the good and difficult times of that service. We pray your blessings on this change of command ceremony that honor these extraordinary leaders and their families. For Colonel Michael Stevens, the outgoing 63rd Tab Commander, we give you thanks. We are grateful for his challenging leadership, professionalism, and dedication. We are especially grateful for his committed concern and authentic caring for all soldiers of the 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade. Continue to bless Colonel Stevens, his wife Cindy, and their children in their future service, according to your divine will. We ask you to grant the incoming commander, Lieutenant Colonel Gary Lewis, wisdom, courage, and strength. May his time of command be one of blessings for him and all soldiers under his leadership. May you keep Lieutenant Colonel Lewis, his wife Sherry, and their children protected and strengthened as they provide support for his new position. And to you, Lord God, be honor and glory forever. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade traces its origin to its organization and federal recognition on 15 September 1986 in the Kentucky Army National Guard at Frankfort as Headquarters and Headquarters Company Aviation Brigade, 35th Infantry Division. This heart of aviation for the Kentucky National Guard is trained in Central and South America as well as Asia and deployed to Southwest Asia in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and across the United States in support of multiple natural disasters. Since 2009, this headquarters has been the mission command element for all rotary and fixed-wing aviation response efforts in support of U.S. Northern Command, performing the chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and high-yield explosive consequence management response force mission, as well as acting as the theater enabler for rotary wing operations to U.S. Army North. The shoulder sleeve insignia evidences a black Pegasus on a white shield, symbolizing the brigade's mission of flight, and alludes to the unit's location, Kentucky, the horse capital of the world. The distinctive unit insignia evidences a Pegasus imposed on a silver shield over a red scroll inscribed Unbridled Thunder. The stars on each suggest constancy. The two rows of stars, 6 and 3, allude to the number 63, the brigade's designation. Elements of the 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade include the Headquarters Company, commanded by Captain Stephen Lawson. The company First Sergeant is First Sergeant Dale Atkins. 751st Troop Command, commanded by Major Michael Armstrong. The Command Sergeant Major is Paul Rizak. The Headquarters Company, commanded by Captain Bart Williams. The company First Sergeant is First Sergeant Troy Logston. 133rd Mobile Public Affairs Detachment, commanded by Captain Gus LaFontaine. The company First Sergeant is First Sergeant Heather Acosta. 202nd Army Band, commanded by Chief Warrant Officer 4 Gregory Stepp. The company First Sergeant is First Sergeant Christopher Gilstrap. Detachment 11 Operational Support Airlift Command, commanded by Chief Warrant Officer 5 Steve Knight. The detachment NCOIC is Sergeant First Class Corey Smith. Charlie Company, 1st of the 376th Aviation Security and Support, commanded by Major Pat Ferguson. The company First Sergeant is First Sergeant Matthew Singer. Bravo Company, 2147th Aviation, commanded by Captain Bill Crow. The company First Sergeant is First Sergeant Christopher Searcy. Bravo Company 351st Aviation Support Battalion, commanded by Captain Jacob Piper. The company First Sergeant is First Sergeant Kenneth Varble. And Detachment 1, Charlie Company, 2nd of the 238th Aviation, commanded by Captain Jessica Tharp. The detachment NCOIC is Sergeant First Class Melissa Bond. Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to have several distinguished visitors at our ceremony. Many have traveled from across the state to share this special day with us. Distinguished visitors present today include Major General Stephen Hogan, Joint Force Headquarters, the Adjutant General; Brigadier General Ben Adams III, Joint Force Headquarters, Director of the Joint Staff; Brigadier General Retired Jack Doyle; CW5 Dean Stoops, Joint Force Headquarters, Command Chief Warrant Officer, and Command Sergeant Major David Munden, Joint Force Headquarters, State Command Sergeant Major, and many, many senior staff and retired senior staff members, and current and former commanders. Thank you for being with us today. Please remain seated while the Commander of Troops brings the unit to attention for the passing of the colors.
Bring your units to attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated as the reviewing party takes their positions for the change of command. The change of command ceremony is a military tradition that is rich with symbolism and heritage, dating back to medieval times. Soldiers often carried staves or standards into battle that identified them as a unit. Throughout military history, unit colors have marked the position of the commander on the battlefield and served as a rallying point. While attacking or rallying on the battlefield, soldiers would follow the standard, or guidon, of their leader, most often found on the forward edge of the battle. Today, the colors represent not only the heritage and history of the unit, but also the unity and transfer of authority. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority, representing his responsibilities to the organization. Wherever the commander is, there also are the colors. The passing of the unit colors represents the loyalty of its soldiers. The Command Sergeant Major is the keeper of the colors. As the senior enlisted soldier in the brigade, he is the spokesman for both the loyalty and concerns of the soldiers and the principal advisor to the commander. Due to unforeseen circumstances, Command Sergeant Major Stocker cannot be present with us today. At this time, Sergeant Major Scott Foster will pass the colors to the outgoing commander, signifying the last act of allegiance to his commander. The passing of the colors from the outgoing commander to the senior commander signifies that the unit is never without its officer leadership. The passing of the colors from the senior commander to the incoming commander signifies the passing of his trust and also the responsibility for the unit and its soldiers. By authority of AR 600-20, paragraph 2-5D, the undersigned assumes command of the 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade effective 20 May 2017. Signed, Gary D. Lewis, Lieutenant Colonel, 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade, commanding. The passing of the colors from the incoming commander to the incoming Command Sergeant Major signifies the confidence that the command places in the non-commissioned officer corps and is the Command Sergeant Major's first act of allegiance to his new commander. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention towards the sky for the flyover in honor of the change of command ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated while the Commander of Troops brings the unit to parade rest.
Bring your units to parade rest. Parade rest. Parade rest. Parade rest.
Colonel Stevens' family was unable to attend today, but we would like to recognize his wife Cindy and his daughters, Jacelyn and Sophie, and their support to our organization. On behalf of the command, flowers are being presented by the 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade's Soldier of the Year, Specialist James E. Alvey, to our incoming commander's wife, Mrs. Sherry Lewis. The yellow roses presented to Mrs. Lewis welcome her to the command and signify the new era that is about to begin at the 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade. White roses are being presented to Lieutenant Colonel Lewis's daughter Hannah and a brigade coin to Lieutenant Colonel Lewis's son Jonah. The first to address us this morning will be our Assistant Adjutant General, Brigadier General Scott Campbell. General Campbell serves as Joint Task Force Commander for large-scale domestic operations within the state. General Campbell was commissioned through the Kentucky Military Academy Officer Candidate School program in 1984. Prior to commissioning, he served as an enlisted member of Company Alpha, 1st of the 123rd Armor in Marion, Kentucky. General Campbell has commanded at the company, battalion, and brigade level and served in senior staff officer positions within the 149th Brigade and at the state headquarters level. In 2003, Brigadier General Campbell commanded 2nd Battalion, 123rd Armor during Operation Joint Forge in Bosnia-Herzegovina. In 2006-2007, General Campbell served as officer in charge of 4th Infantry Division and 1st Cav Division Rear Operations Center at Camp Liberty, Iraq. And in 2011, he commanded the 149th Maneuver Enhancement Brigade during Operation New Dawn in Iraq. During this mission, the 149th Maneuver Enhancement Brigade was assigned to assist with the transition and withdrawal of U.S. forces from Iraq. Ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier General Campbell.
Yeah, I made the print big enough. I can get by without these. Thank you, Major Martin. I'll accept all the introductions that Major Martin did, so we don't have to go through those all over again. But today we're honoring the accomplishments of two men who have exemplified the motto, unbridled thunder. Nearly 3 years ago, Colonel Mike Stevens took command of the 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade. There's a reason Mike was selected for this position, and the last 3 years are evidence of that decision. Mike has served over the last 3 years with distinction. He inherited a high aviation op-tempo and a very dynamic mission environment with the 63rd Tab. Even with the recent turmoil that has surrounded Army aviation, Mike never lost his focus on the soldiers and families of the brigade and posturing Kentucky aviation for continued relevance in service to nation and state. We don't yet know how this change will eventually stabilize, but we do know due to the efforts of Colonel Stevens, 63rd Tab, and past commanders, the Kentucky Army National Guard Aviation is well positioned in the national discussion of the future of Army aviation. Our state aviation community has a national reputation of excellence due to the visibility of successful deployments and relationships established by Colonel Stevens and others. 63rd Tab is better off today than it was 3 years ago, and thank you, Mike, for your tireless efforts to keep us in the national discussion, and thank you for your leadership and your vision that has cared for and protected our soldiers and families the last 3 years. It's a testament to your service, the continued aviation safety record, and the success of the R North mission. Also want to take a moment to extend my personal gratitude to Mike's wife, Cindy, who is not in attendance, and their two daughters. They've endured a lot over Mike's career, and it does not go unnoticed. Mike, congratulations on a successful command. Lieutenant Colonel Promotable Lewis, the mantle is now yours. I know you will take this command to new heights, but you have some big shoes to fill. Lieutenant Colonel Lewis, you're the right person for command of this distinguished organization. Your record of performance and accomplishment is just what we need to take 63rd Tab to the next level. Change will continue to occur in the Army aviation community, and it's important that we have a seat at the table when decisions are being made. We ensure that seat at the table by continuing our history of excellence in all that we do. Readiness, training, safety, education. The list goes on and on. If we improve and maintain our metrics, we have leverage at the national level. Dwayne can continue to foster those relationships at the national level that Colonel Stevens and others before you have established. The Army thrives with a formal structure that is built and maintained on informal relationships. Look at other opportunities to enhance the readiness and visibility of 63rd Tab. Lieutenant Colonel Lewis, you're in a place of immense authority over the soldiers, and I know that you will make a huge impact on their careers and their lives. You will continue to serve our great nation in this Commonwealth. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to your family, Sherry. Thanks for your service as well to our country. It's hard to quantify the sacrifices a family makes over the course of a soldier's career. And your 2 children as well, thank you. This brigade has a great responsibility to the Kentucky Guard and to our state. You are an operational organization that flies nearly every day in support of our ongoing missions to protect the Commonwealth and the nation. There are very few things more serious than that. As someone that has been a customer of Army aviation over the last 36 years, I always get a sense of pride and confidence when I look out and see that I'm about to fly on a Kentucky airframe, no matter what the environment. Kentucky Aviation is always there to accomplish the mission, be it either federal deployments or in support of numerous natural disasters. You are always ready and always there in support of our nation and state. Thank you again, Colonel Stevens, Lieutenant Colonel Promotable Lewis, for all you've done and will continue to do for our country and our state. God bless this brigade, our state, and our country. Thank you.
At this time, on behalf of all soldiers in the 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade, Brigadier General Campbell will present a token of appreciation to Colonel Stevens for his leadership. Brigadier General Campbell is presenting Colonel Stevens with a gift from his soldiers of the colors framed and surrounded by the unit crests of the subordinate units of the 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade. The inscription reads, "From the soldiers of the 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade, in recognition of your outstanding leadership, thank you for your genuine concern for the welfare of your soldiers. Unbridled thunder." Ladies and gentlemen, the outgoing commander, Colonel Mike Stevens.
Thank you for the beautiful gift. That's gorgeous, Phil. I appreciate it. For those of you, well, first of all, soldiers, rest. Wiggle your feet, move your knees a little bit, do what you need to do to be comfortable. Don't pass out on me. I'll only be about 45 minutes. You think I'm joking. No, for any of you that have ever stood in this position, general officers, colonels, you realize that coming out of a command is a bittersweet, kind of an emotional day that you don't really prepare yourself for until it happens, and then you find yourself realizing that all the things you'd set out to accomplish, the list of things, you probably got maybe 2 accomplished. But I I want to thank General Hogan for the opportunity to command General Campbell, my Raider. Sir, thank you. You have sat down with me and mentored me and talked to me and guided me, and that's a difficult thing to do with the op tempo that we have here, and it's a difficult thing because you didn't have a whole lot to work with, but we made it through, and I appreciate that. 7 June 2014, 3 years ago, Colonel Mike Ferguson and I went through this same ceremony. We talked about what it was like. We talked about all the things that he set out to do, but because of op tempo wasn't able to, and I took the challenge that I would take those things and continue on with them. Mike, I've tried to. Previous brigade commanders that have showed up today, thank you so much. I've tried to make you proud and continue the heritage of Army Aviation as a professional organization. Brigade command is stressful, and some of you may not realize the amount of mental energy that goes into every decision that I make. Phil, or Lieutenant Colonel Robinson, and some of my others will tell you that I perhaps overthink things sometimes, but I think as a senior leader we must do that because every decision manifests itself as a pretty significant life-changing event for all of you, and that is no small task. The biggest worry I had was not the things that happened in the command, but it was all the things that could have happened that kept me up at night. You guys are a professional organization. You made that easy. I knew when you launched aircraft or when you conducted your mission that you were going to do it with a professionalism and a care for the soldiers, and that we were going to do it in such a way that we would safely return. So truthfully, this day is not so much about me because I can't really name a lot of things that I accomplished. It's really about you as the soldiers. You see, change is good. The reason we change commanders is we will become stagnant. We will become complacent. And quite frankly, we will burn out. And that's why change happens. That's why we go through moving up in the military, taking more responsibility, more rank. So don't see this as a bad day. See this as not an end. I see this as just merely a new beginning for all of you, because this brigade will continue, and it will continue to do great things. We did do wonderful things as an aviation brigade, and to not mention those is to diminish all the work that you put into it. We raised our metrics in the state for APFT. We have MOSQ. As hard as it is to get into some of the aviation schools, and as long as they are, we have been exceptional at getting people trained. And having you trained is what I have made a commitment to General Hogan, General Campbell, and the Commonwealth, is to make sure that you are competent, confident, and ready to defend this nation in the event of war and to take care of the Commonwealth. I have no doubt that you've done that. The flying that we do, if you saw those 3 Blackhawks fly by here and it didn't make you excited, then I don't know what could. Those machines are incredible. And to all of you that pilot those machines, you're incredible for doing so. But you could not dare fly those aircraft without the mechanics that keep them going, the maintenance, the logistics, the personnel management, the soldiers that make those aircraft run and fly safely. Never overlook that those soldiers are what make Army aviation successful. They have committed to do all the soldier tasks that every other soldier of every other branch does. All the schools, all the warrior tasks, all the field craft, and yet they still find time to maintain a technologically advanced $20 million aircraft. That's pretty amazing. And oh, by the way, they maintain a job, they maintain a family, they go to school, they participate in the community, as well. So to my M-Day soldiers, I will tell you, I applaud you for what you sacrifice as a full-time force. We've always tried to recognize, sometimes we forget, we've always tried to recognize what you do, the sacrifices you make. So when you come in here and support the nation and the Commonwealth, you should be very proud of yourselves. And in light of that, I'd like to ask all the people that are here, please give a round of applause for my soldiers today. I was joking about talking 45 minutes, but I may go, no, I'm just kidding, I won't go into it. Don't get comfortable. Do not get comfortable as a soldier. Every time you do a task as a soldier, you treat it with the seriousness, you follow the standards, you follow all the things that we've programmed into you so that you are safe. Never forget your Army values. They're not just words. There's something that set us apart from the rest of the world, the rest of society. Loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. That's what makes us special. Those words are what make us come together from every ethnicity, every gender, every religion, every worldview, every culture, every upbringing. We all come together with one central task to take care of American citizens and to take care of one another. You're amazing at doing that. I have a great appreciation for you for that. I dug out the little 3x5 card I had when I came in command. I didn't talk near as long, but that was some of the promises that I made, and I've tried to fulfill those. One of the things I told you is that at the time, General Tonini had made me your commander, but only you, on an individual basis, could make me your leader. Leadership is not about lording authority over someone. Leading is about inspiring them and encouraging them to always do better. Lieutenant Colonel Lewis, I leave you with the loyalty of these soldiers, and you continue to take that great mantle, and I know you will earn their desire to follow you as a leader, not just a commander. So, I thought about, what is my legacy? What am I going to be remembered for? Hopefully not some of the comical stuff as much, but I think I will be remembered as a commander that genuinely loved and cared for the intrinsic value of every human being that is standing here today. You know, we don't just work together. We go through weddings. We go through funerals. We go through graduations. We go through celebrations. And we go through some trouble and we go through some sadness, don't we? And to watch you all cling together as what I commonly call my brigade or guard family, that's not just a word that is used to make you feel warm and fuzzy. That is the only word that I can think of that can capture for the rest of the world what it means to be a Kentucky Guardsman and further a 63rd Aviation Brigade member. You're more than just a soldier. You're not a pawn. You're not something that I take to war and you're expendable. You're a great human being, and you're going to do great things. And I hope that through this, as leadership, collectively, we have inspired you. Most of all, I hope you can walk away from here and say that you have been treated fairly. It doesn't mean you get benefits. It doesn't mean you're coddled. But can you really look at yourself and say, I have been treated fairly? That's the ultimate goal. My father said to me, Mike, no one will ever remember the accomplishments that you did, but they will always remember how you treated them. I think there's a lot of truth in that. It was not hard. I did not have to make a deliberate effort to care for you. It is something that comes very natural. I appreciate that you have embraced that leadership style, and I believe you're about to witness that same leadership style in Lieutenant Colonel Lewis. We always mention, last but not least, the retirees. I mentioned you last here because I want to give you the warmest thank you and focused thank you for the support you have given me. We have continued to do the retiree breakfast. I see you here for every occasion. You take an interest in what we're doing. You don't walk away and say, well, that's okay, the aviation will do what it wants to do and I have no input. You do have input. Because of what you did, we came from a small aviation facility to what you see today. We're a state in the National Guard. We have 10 Mike model Blackhawks that even the active duty Army is having trouble filling. So we are good. You are good. Be proud of that. But retirees, thank you so much for your support. Some of your individual words you have given me have helped keep me going. They have inspired me, and I can't even imagine running this brigade without you. And Dwayne, I challenge you, keep the breakfasts going, keep the retirees engaged, and I know you will. But it's been publicly claimed now, you have to. So thank you so much. It means a lot to me that you're here. All right, I'm wrapping up. There are some things that I want to say to you, but this is not the venue. It's not the place I want my parting words to some of the soldiers that have been so good to support me and help me be successful in commanding and leading you. So I'm going to send you an email. Don't blow it off. It's going to come through your normal channels like your newsletter that some of you still don't read, but anyway. Read that email, and I want a reply. I want feedback. You owe it to me to come back and tell me, sir, this is where you didn't fulfill what I expected of a leader. That's the only way we get better. So I'm asking you to do that. That's your last homework assignment that I'm going to give you. It'll be in the coming couple weeks, I guess. The last thing is, despite all of my better judgment, I have created a Facebook page. It's under Michael Webb Stevens. It has a beautiful portrait of me. I encourage you all, reach out, send me an invitation, because that is the media by which I will keep track of you and watch you go into the future and grow into the soldiers, the great human beings, and the great citizens of this nation that I know you can be. Thunder 6, out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Dwayne Lewis.
Good morning. I want to thank
General Holden, General Adams, General Campbell for attending. Thank you all for being here today. I also want to thank my family, my wife, Sherry, Hannah, Jonah, my mom and dad are all here, my brother. Thank you all for coming. And also have some friends here also from Harrodsburg also. Last but not least, I want to thank all the soldiers, 63rd Tab, and then all the former members of 63rd Tab also. Thank you all for coming. One last thing I want to thank is Colonel Stevens for the smooth transition. The only one thing that got me upset was you gave me the keys to the office, but not to the Corvette. Yeah, I know, sir. I want to thank my wife and kids for always being there for me when we're always gone, and you take care of the family and hold the household up. I also want to thank Mom and Dad for always teaching me the right way to do things, which lead me in the direction I'm in now. Most everyone in the brigade knows me. I grew up with you. I've been in here for almost 22 years. I know every one of you, I think. Knowing that a new commander's taken over, I've been here around enough to know that I can't do it by myself. It's going to take you all to do it with me. If you fail, I fail. So we're all in this together. As defenders of this nation, we have to prepare ourselves for any missions, federal and state, that come along. I'll always be ready to answer that call. To do this, we must know our job and always be physically fit against whatever comes our way, and I know we will. As for the families, I've always said that if you have a strong family support group, it'll make a unit very successful. The soldiers are happy, the wives are happy, soldiers are happy, spouses are happy. Family support groups are a vital part of our units, and we have to take care of our own. One last thought, because I'm brief, is Psalms 144. Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. He is my steadfast love and my fortress, my stronghold, my deliverer, my shield, and he in whom I take refuge. I will work hard to support you, defend you, and lead you. Unbridled Thunder.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as the Commander of Troops brings our units to attention for the playing of My Old Kentucky Home, and remain standing for the benediction as offered by Lieutenant Colonel Draper.
Bring your units to attention.
Chaplain Draper will bring us our benediction.
I invite you to bow your hearts once more as I give the benediction. Mighty and gracious God, we are thankful for this nation and for these servants of this nation. We pray that you will continue to provide your protection of those in harm's way today on foreign soil. We pray today as we depart from this place that you would give us travel mercies. Now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance to you and grant you his peace. In the name of Christ I pray. Amen.
Sir, this concludes the ceremony.
Take charge.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the departure of the official party and the playing of the Army song. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the change of command ceremony. Please join us for refreshments in the hangar. Thank you for attending.
Commander, take charge of your units.
10 years from now, watching this video, shame on me for not doing all the things that I wanted to get accomplished. I've learned that time goes by so quickly and your best intentions get buried in the minutia. You're supposed to have vision as a brigade commander, but frankly, we as a nation are so busy, having come from a war and inevitably probably going to be in another one, reacting on a daily basis was hard. So I hope in the future to look back and say, well, you should have taken a little bit more time to be proactive. Quite frankly, I don't know how that would have happened. So the best that we can do is the best we can do. Every soldier in this brigade is alive, is safe, knows they were cared for, and will continue to serve as a citizen soldier. So I'll look back and be pretty happy about that. The general officers, not referring to me as a Patton-esque leader, Eisenhower, kicking people in the gut. It's not the Army that we're a part of anymore. Soldiers are intelligent. They are amazing. Their skill sets, their intellect, their knowledge, their values. You can't just stand in front of someone and bark out an order without getting the question why. And I think that's what makes us a formidable military. So to hear the general officers and the leadership refer to my leadership style as a genuinely caring leadership style is humbling. To talk about it makes me arrogant, but it's very heartwarming and it's genuine. It's who I am. Can't be anything different. I don't expect soldiers to be anything different than what they are, and that's what makes us great. We can be individuals, but we collectively come together to be one massively effective moving unit.